Welcome to another edition of SP Moves. I'm here with Bailey from SoulCycle. Today we're going to be focusing on some issues we see with a lot of our cyclists, and that they tend to get really tight through the neck and traps kind of the thoracic spine area. So we're going to do some things to help work on some of that. All we need today is we got a little lacrosse ball. I have a little slam ball, something we're going to squeeze onto later. You don't need to have it, but I like it a little bit. Bailey is normally one of the most badass SoulCycle instructors around, but lately she's been doing burn with Bay. When is that normally?
4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4, and then Saturday at 10:30. Dance, cardio.
I did not realize you're doing that 4 days a week.
And strength training.
Oh man, that's a lot.
Well,
it's a lot of fun. It's a little like hip-hoppy dance.
Yeah, dance, cardio, aerobic exercise, dance moves, and then body weight, arms, abs, and ass.
Yeah, so if they wanted that, where do they find it on Instagram?
Instagram, and then I just send Zoom links out every other day.
Yeah, so check that out. It's a lot of fun. She usually wears like super awesome outfits. She's very fashion forward. Okay, so we're going to start. Some of the things we're going to work on today. Part of the issue with that really tight neck and the shoulder blades is your traps, which are these big guys right here. And then if Bailey would turn around for me, we're also going to work through an area a little bit more. Right here, we have our rhomboids, which help move the shoulder blades. There's a couple layers of tissue there. So we're going to work through the rhomboids and also your thoracic erectors that run this way. So we're going to smash into a couple areas and we're going to move a couple areas. So we're going to go ahead and start with the traps. How we smash into these is I typically recommend you're going to get a lacrosse ball, and usually at home a door frame works really well. We're going to use our rack back here. So we're going to go ahead and come on back here. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the ball right on top of the trap. And then I like to think I'm form tackling the wall here. If I was at home, this would be the edge of the door frame. Ball's right on top of the trap. And then she's just going to push into the ball into that trap by pushing into the wall there. You can see the ball's on her right side, so she lets her right arm hang. And then what you can't see, because her head is behind the rack, is she's going to take her head and pull it away from where the ball is. Now, as always, when we do this, we're going to do it for 2 minutes. So I'm going to spot her a little bit of time because she already started, but 2 minutes is always the goal whenever we're smashing, stretching, doing anything with tissue, because that's about how long it takes for a tissue to change. Whenever you give it an input, whether it's a stretch or applying tissue or compression with the ball, it takes a little time for your body to get on board.
Feels good.
Yeah, this one usually feels really good. People love the trap one.
Ooh.
Are you doing a different combo every day?
Just about, yeah. Since like picking up some steam in the beginning, I was repeating just to get people familiar with like the vocabulary of moves I was using and sequencing and stuff, but definitely a different song every day, repeating a lot of the same moves, just different combinations and sequences and stuff.
That's a lot of hip hop dance.
It's a lot of fun, yeah. You're like Jane Fonda of 2020.
All right, we got another 30 seconds. Now, when you're doing this one, you can like press really hard into the wall, right? Because we got our whole body weight behind it. So we can really like spike the intensity here, which is great. But if you do it like so super hard and super intense that you can only hold it for 15, 20 seconds, that's a little too intense. Intensity is great, but we still need that time window. So I like to say do it as intensely as you can, assuming you can hit that 2 minute window, and that's kind of the like cross section that's going to give you the best results, right? Okay, 2 minutes. Let's switch and do the other side. So going over to the other side, doing the exact same thing. Ball goes directly on top of the trap. She's going to get down nice and low, form tackle the rack there, pushing the ball into her trap. If you're at home, you got a little door frame you can push into, that works great. And then letting that arm hang, she's on her left side now, so left arm's hanging down. And she's gonna peel her head away from the wall and the ball, creating some extra tension into the muscle. Now, we are focusing on like people who cycle or spin a lot usually have these issues, but it seems like everyone I see really has some trap issues, so this is really a good one for kind of anybody. We tend to walk around like this all day, which isn't a great position to be in. So, got about a minute left. Yeah, she's feeling it. Now, if you have a really tight neck and you're smashing into here, sometimes you'll get like some nervy numbness, tingling stuff into the fingers. It's totally fine. Just keep the intensity where it's at. Don't go any harder into it. This can actually help relieve some of that. Just means you got a really jacked up neck and you need to work into it a little bit. If you do get some of that nervy stuff, probably reach out to us. That's something we can kind of help you with. Wouldn't recommend trying to take care of that on your own at home. It's not a great idea. Got another 20 seconds. One of the things Bailey is definitely known for is her awesome shoes. She usually has the newest and flyest shoes.
My last ones I was wearing that you guys were giving me a hard time about, I like gave myself some foot issues there with them for a minute. I was like jumping around and dancing and running in them, and they were definitely style sneakers, not as functional.
I saw you do on your classes and those shoes are.
Yeah, it was.
They're not bad. They're not messed up.
Yeah, they're super chunky, so my weight wasn't distributed quite properly.
Okay, 2 minutes.
Whew.
So we're gonna come down to the mat here. First, let's show them where we're gonna put the ball. So if you can sit down and face this way so they can kind of see what the area I'm talking about. So when we do this, she has her spine right in the middle here, and she has her shoulder blade over on this side. And we're gonna kind of go right in the middle. So our trap, we were right here. We're gonna come down a little bit, not on the spine, not on the shoulder blade, but right in between. And then when we do this, we're gonna try and pull this layer of tissue, your rhomboids, out this way, and then she's gonna tuck her head and pull the erectors through this way. So we're gonna get a little extra bang for our buck here and get 2 muscles. Okay? So she's gonna go ahead and lie on her back. Let's start with the right side. So she's gonna go ahead and place the ball kind of right where we were talking about.
Ooh.
Now, a lot of times you'll find like one spot that really lights up and is really intense. Perfect, that's where we're gonna be. Okay? So the ball's on her right side. What she's gonna do is she's gonna pull her right arm across and go ahead and take her opposite hand and really reach over. Once she's done that, she's gonna tuck her chin down to her chest and she's gonna look away. So she's gonna look this way just a little bit. Boom. And so think of it like 2 moves. You reach across, then you tuck your chin and turn. And then you reset.
Oh.
Yeah. And you do it again. Okay? Yes.
Good little lower ab work in too.
Yeah, you can definitely use abs, right? Just consider this your workout for the day.
I think I might.
Okay, back down. Let's go ahead and reset the arm as well. So what's happening here is we're pulling, when the arm comes across, we're pulling that shoulder blade across, so we're stretching that first layer of muscle tissue. Once we've maxed that out, then we tuck the chin, and now we're pulling that other layer of tissue across the ball there. So we're getting 2 for 1 here. Nice.
Ooh.
It must feel weird not being on a bike for so long.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I wouldn't say worried, but curious as to what getting back will be like. But yeah, it's been kind of eye-opening to me about cross-training a little bit too. The things that I thought that I was, good at and efficient at. Putting in a little extra work, realizing little areas where I'm out of shape and stuff. So it's been a good opportunity to kind of check in on myself too in that sense, but I miss my bike for sure.
Yeah. I know a lot of people have like put bikes in their home and have been like doing like spin classes at home.
I didn't jump on the bandwagon of trying to rent out a bike right away, and I think I realized I missed my opportunity once they were sold out everywhere, but we will be back soon. I'm very excited for that. Oof.
I also saw you're on TikTok now.
Sure am.
Is that where some inspiration for your dances comes from the TikToks?
You know what? I mean, I would say more music than dance moves.
Yeah.
Trying to teach people how to do the whoa.
No, I can.
Isn't so much of a workout.
You gotta toss it up.
Get it.
Get it. Okay, let's go ahead and switch sides. I've done one TikTok dance.
Oh yeah, which one was that?
It was a Justin Bieber song.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, taught you how to drag stick.
Yes, that's the one.
I forget what that song is called, but.
I don't remember either. But it does have the whoa in it.
Yes, it does.
So I'm gonna have to do that. It was pretty good.
I think this side must be a little tighter because.
Okay, so once again, we're finding the spine, finding the shoulder blade, kind of going right in the middle of the thoracic spine. pulling the arm across, and then tucking the chin down towards the chest and looking away from the side we're working on. So now we're on the left side, so she's pulling the left arm across, tucking the chin, looking over to the right, making it a 2-part move. Yeah, TikTok's been, I refuse to make one, but it's really fun.
To just
I
entertain yourself?
I get on other people's TikToks and I look through all their stuff and it's pretty great.
I find it very entertaining too. I like the art and DIY ones a lot.
My favorite TikTok is it's someone in a bear suit and they just do TikTok dances in a bear suit and that's all it is.
That's very, very fun and wholesome. I like that, good clean fun.
Who doesn't want to see a dancing bear? And it's a really high quality bear suit. Like you can tell they spent some money on it. But I feel like at a couple 100,000 followers, they probably like got her.
Yeah.
I don't know how TikTok works.
I think it's just like any other like Instagram or social media platform where you basically start to get paid for your posts and things.
Yeah, that's what I imagine, right?
Yeah, people are making money on there. They're all like 18 too.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast the other day that I was like, if you're over 25 and you're on TikTok, what the hell are you doing? Like, get off.
Yeah, that's how I felt. It's just like my boyfriend's not into it at all.
Yeah. Dr. Wu loves TikTok. Like he's all on it. He wants to be TikTok famous. That's like one of his goals.
I mean, there's definitely a niche for like the physical therapy and chiropractic stuff. I've already found like, you know, on Instagram like pimple popper guy and like all
I love that shit.
videos of them like popping gross black.
I love it. I could watch those that for hours.
Me too, until I get too nasty with them, like too.
Oh no, like gross with that. Alright, so that's all the smashing we're gonna do. So now we gotta actually move some of that stuff. Smashing is not the end all be all. So let's go ahead and sit on up. So I was sort of talking about the different layers of tissue there, because we have the shoulder blade and we also have the spine, so we gotta move all that. So we're gonna start by moving the shoulder blades. So we're gonna do what's called a shoulder blade controlled articular rotation. The general idea here is we're taking the shoulder blade and moving it through its full range of motion. Okay? So I usually like to do this with my arm held out at 45 degrees. And if we think about what the shoulder blade can do, it can go up, it can go down, it can go forward, it can go back. Elevation, depression, protraction, retraction for all you anatomy nerds out there. We're basically going to try and move through all those in a slow, controlled fashion. So, Babe's going to sit up nice and tall, arms held straight out, and the first thing she's going to do is she's going to elevate her shoulder blade, so it comes straight up. Now she's going to push it straight forward, and then down, and then back, and then up. So that would be halfway. Now we're going to reverse it and go the other direction. So now we're going to go down, forward, up, and back. Good. So that was one. We did it around this way, and then we did it around this way. Okay, so we're gonna do that again. So up, forward, down, back, up, reverse it, down, forward, up, back. Okay, so you can see she's kind of struggling a little bit. Most people will struggle with this one a little bit because we don't think about moving our shoulder blades that often. Have you ever thought about moving your shoulder blade like this before?
Maybe not in this exact range.
I'm gonna say Tyson. So I expect a lot of people will struggle with this. So some things you can focus on. We want to try not to move anything else. It's just the shoulder blade moving. So if you're like doing this while you're doing it, you're probably not doing it right. Okay, you're trying to keep your head from moving, and then just practice, reps and reps and reps. Okay, good. So let's go. I don't know where we're at. So we're up. Take from the top. So up, forward, down, back, up, reverse it, down, forward, up, back, reverse it, forward, down, back, up, reverse, down, forward,
So forward when you get to me.
back, one more time, forward, down, back, up, reverse, down, forward, forward, there we go, up, back. Okay, good. Let's go ahead, let's switch sides and we're gonna do their sides so they can see.
I try the forward one, I end up just like reaching my hand forward.
Yeah. So you don't have to do these with your arm held straight out. That's just the position I like. If you're like sitting in your car at a red light, you can just. Now, when you start, it might look like kind of like you're going around a box, but eventually we want to try and make it smooth in a circle. And I've done a lot of these, so I kind of have a little better control. But I don't expect everyone to start there. Just thinking about it and trying, even if you're doing it wrong, is better than doing nothing. But a lot of like shoulder and neck issues just come from having shitty shoulder blades. So this is a good place to start, okay? So let's get 5 good ones in a row, okay? So up, forward, down, back, up, reverse, down, forward, up, back, reverse, forward, down, back, up, down, forward, up, back, forward, down, back, up.
This is too much for my brain.
Down, forward, up, back, reverse, forward, down, back, up, reverse, down, forward.
Okay, this forward one.
Forward, yeah, up, back, reverse, forward, down, back, up, down, forward, up, back. We got one more. Forward, down, back, up, down, forward, up, back. Good. So some things to look out for when we're doing these. This is one that people tend to try and cheat a lot. Like when we go forward, people tend to try and rotate. So try not to let anything else move. When people go up, sometimes they'll like shrug their head to the side, so trying to stay nice and tall. And then a lot of times people will like do weird stuff with their arm, trying to keep it straight, right? It does take some time, some awareness to develop just kind of knowledge of what's going on in your shoulder blades. Just kind of a weird movement. It's a really good one. Okay, so we think about the layers we smashed earlier. We just got the rhomboids, because that's what attaches to the shoulder blade. Now we're gonna work on the erectors, so the spine stuff, right? If you spend a lot of time on a bike, you spend a lot of time in flexion like this. So we wanna try and get the spine into extension. So we like to do what are called Andy D's. That's short for Andy Dufresne from the Shawshank Redemption. Hopefully everyone's seen it. Bailey thinks she saw it like in high school sometime.
Like a required.
So she's gonna go home and watch that later because it's an amazing movie, okay? But here's the idea. Why don't we turn it face that way so you can see what's going on? So the idea is, if you think about like the pivotal scene in Shawshank Redemption, it's he's like this, he's in the rain, he just got, spoiler alert, he gets his freedom, right? He climbs through the tunnel and it's like raining down on him, he rips his shirt off, it's awesome. But he basically is pushing his chest forward, getting into spinal extension, hands are out wide in order to like open up all the stuff on the front side, which we tend to keep very tight and flexed when we're spending a lot of time on the bike. So for this one, we're gonna do sets and rests. So we're gonna sit nice and tall. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna tilt our head back like we're trying to look up at the ceiling. This is cervical extension. Then you're gonna push your chest forward, arms come out wide. You're gonna try and squeeze all these muscles in between your shoulder blades here. That's a great exercise. So I want you to try and lean back just a little bit more, push. If you have a flashlight on your chest, you're trying to point that up towards the ceiling. You're gonna try and squeeze these muscles here. Do you feel them?
Yes.
Okay, and then we're gonna come back nice and slow to our upright position. That's 1. We're gonna do 10. Okay, so head goes back. Arms out wide, squeeze these muscles, push the chest forward. Good, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And back. Okay? Alright, so keep doing those. Head back. So when you're doing these, something you want to look out for is you don't want to extend a lot from your lumbar spine. You want to extend from up in the thoracic spine in this area. So I like to imagine if I was like a high jumper in the Olympics. Imagine that bar is like right here, right at the, like in the mid-back area, and you're trying to curve over it. Right? If you just lean back, you're going to hit it. You're going to get disqualified. You're not going to win the gold medal. Okay? So try and think about that extension as like a wave rolling down your spine, focusing on this part of your spine and keeping it out of here. Good, head goes back. Good, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So see she's kind of leaning back a little bit here, so if you got a friend, they can like block you. Good. Good. She's kind of like taking a second at the end to kind of like squeeze those muscles and really feel it. That's perfect, that's exactly what we want to do. Good, starting with the head goes back. Chest goes forward, point that flashlight in your chest up towards the sky. Maybe like an Iron Man laser if that's your thing.
Woo, we're gonna have to sweat.
Yes. Good. She's trying to cheat again a little bit, so I'm gonna go up a little bit higher and keep her lumbar spine from moving. And keep it all up here. Good. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Until her spine's a little stiff.
Ooh.
No big deal. Fix that. Goes back. Right, you don't get points for repetitions or doing these quickly. Right, you gotta like take your time with this and like really spend some time in those positions that you struggle with. Right, so if you're doing this and like your thoracic spine, those muscles feel like really crampy, like you feel like this stuff's about to cramp up on you, that just means you need it more than probably someone who doesn't feel as crampy. Right, a cramp in this situation is not bad. It just tells us that this is something you need to work on. Those muscles are like, what the hell are you trying to do? We haven't done this in a long time. So I would encourage you to try and just work through that crampy sensation. And the more you do this, the more comfortable you get with this movement. It's gonna go away, it's gonna start feeling better. Hope you've been counting.
I've been way more than 10.
I have no idea. Cool, keep going. Let's do 3 more. Sounds good. Nice and slow. Yeah, so you gotta do these slow, you gotta do them with some quality in order for them to count.
Woo. It looks way easier when you were demonstrating.
It always does. Yeah, plus you do 1, you're like, oh, 1 feels great, and then you get like 5, and you're like, oh, it sucks. It sucks.
Woo.
Okay, right? So we did, let's say 15. I don't really know. Let's say we did 15. Usually recommend you can work these into like 3 sets of 10 or something like that. More is better. You're not really gonna overdo these. Okay? So we worked on thoracic extension, but the spine can do a lot of other different movements, right? So we're gonna work on getting all of that stuff in with some more controlled articular rotations, but this time we're gonna do the thoracic spine. Okay? Now, when we do these, I like to have something to hold on to and squeeze. You have these nice slam balls. If you're doing it at home, you can grab a pillow, stuffed animal, teddy bear, I don't know. You don't really need it. You can do it without it. You can just hold the arms here. But squeezing this allows us to create more tension, and that can allow us to like get deeper into some range of motion and create a little more strength in those ranges of motion. Okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and give this all a daily, but real quick I'm gonna show you some of the things we're gonna do. So if we think about the spine, it can flex, it can extend, it can laterally flex, which is to the side, and it can also rotate. Okay? A lot of people think about controlled articulation as a circle. It's making a circle with the joint, which it kind of is, not really, which is fine, but we tend to miss rotation if we just do a circle. So we're gonna add that in at one particular point. Okay? All right, you ready to roll?
Yes, which way would you like me to face?
That's perfect right there. Okay? So she's gonna sit up nice and tall, she's gonna squeeze the ball, and the first thing we're gonna start with is flexion. So she's gonna squeeze her abs, and she's gonna think about curling around the ball. Alright, so you can see we got a nice smooth curve here. This is the easy part. She's great at this one. Okay? This is where we're going to put in our rotation. So cervical flexion. Now we're going to start going to the right. So she's going to rotate to the right. Okay, so that's our rotation. And then we're going to go back to the middle. And now we're going to make our circle. So she's going to start to lean over to the right. This is lateral flexion. She's going to squeeze all the muscles on the side of her rib cage over here. And then she's going to start to go back into extension. This is what we did with our MIDBACK. So she's going to squeeze these muscles back here. Same thing, trying to keep it out of the lumbar spine, keep it in the thoracic spine. Good. She's going to slowly work over to lateral flexion on the other side. And then she's going to roll back into flexion. Good, right? So it's a nice smooth circle with just rotation on one side. Now we're gonna reverse and go the opposite direction. So we're gonna start with flexion again, flexion. Now we're gonna do our rotation here. So she's gonna rotate to the left. You're gonna hit a wall where you can't go any further. I want you to hit that wall and kind of just squeeze into it a little bit, see if you can go a little bit deeper. And she's gonna come back, straight flexion. Now we're gonna make that circle. She's gonna roll over the lateral flexion, squeeze all the muscles on the side here. Going back into extension, so she's gonna push that flashlight up towards the ceiling, squeezing those muscles between her shoulder blades, rolling over to lateral flexion on the other side, and then back into straight flexion. Good. Okay. Let's do 2 more good ones and then we'll call it a day. The big thing you gotta look out for on this one is when you go back into extension, a lot of people will just lean back instead of pushing their chest forward and squeezing those muscles into the shoulder blades. She did a great job on that one, so we're just gonna do it again. Okay? So going straight into flexion. From here we're gonna rotate to the right. She's gonna hit that wall and just kind of squeeze those muscles into it, try and go just a tad degree further, and then back in straight flexion. You're gonna laterally flex straight over to the side. Going back into extension, pushing your chest forward, flashlight goes up towards the ceiling, rolling over to the other side. Good. Now you're in lateral flexion, go over to the left, back into straight flexion. Good. You can relax, take a nice deep breath. It's important to remember to breathe here. Don't pass that out. Okay, back into flexion. Okay. Rotating over to the left, you're gonna hit a point where you can't go any further. You're gonna squeeze and try and push through that barrier just a little bit. Back into straight flexion. You're gonna go over to the side for lateral flexion. Back into extension, pushing that chest forward, squeezing the muscles between your shoulder blades. Rolling over to the other side, lateral flexion. Good, coming back down into straight flexion. You're gonna come up, relax, take a deep breath. We're gonna do one more good one. Okay? A lot of times during this one, I know in the past, I've gotten a lot of cramps on both the rotation and the lateral flexion. You feel like cramp through here. Too bad, deal with it. Makes you better. Just means you're doing something good. Okay? All right, so she already did her rotation, going into lateral flexion, going back, chest goes forward, squeezing those muscles back here, over to the other side. Lateral flexion, coming around, going into straight flexion. Excellent. Good. Coming up, take a nice deep breath. One more time. Straight into flexion. Now she's going to rotate, turning the shoulders over to the left side. Nice. Back into flexion. Good. Over to the left. We're going into lateral flexion. Back into extension, squeeze all those muscles, keeping it out of the lumbar spine, keeping it in the thoracic spine, over to the other side, lateral flexion. Straight, back into flexion. Nice. Those are some sweet thoracic cars. They take some time. Man, they're good. Your spine feels great after doing some of those.
I feel good.
Yeah. So that's a great little routine if you're having some neck, mid-back tightness. Great for everyone who's spending a lot of time in flexion. We were focused on cyclists today, but most people who work at a computer tend to spend a lot of time in flexion anyway. So this is a great little series for a lot of people. So hope you like this edition of SP Moves with Bailey, Soul Cycle Queen, and also Dance Queen. Burn with Bay. Go check it out. What's your Instagram handle?
Bay_Bay. B-A-I.
That's B-A-I. I always think it says bye, but it's Bay.
That's how my name's spelled.
Alright, so if you like that, we have some other great resources on our Sports Pod YouTube page. You can also reach out to us or schedule through the website, thesportspod.co. That's C-O with no M. Check it out. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us anytime. Get out there and move.